today's debate shocker.
I will totally accept the results of this great and historic presidential election if I win.
Is he serious?
He is threatening our democracy.
Trump campaign manager Kellyanne Conway will be here in minutes. And going blue? As Hillary Clinton expands into reliably red Arizona and even Utah, can she really upend the electoral map? The very latest on the state of play with her top strategist. Plus, the best political minds will be here with insights from the campaign trail. Hello, I'm Jake Tapper in Washington, where the State of our Union is down to the wire with just over 2 weeks until Election Day. Both candidates are crisscrossing the country, making their final pitches. Hillary Clinton signaling her confidence in Pennsylvania, where she spent nearly as much time talking about the Senate campaign there as her own race against Donald Trump.
I debated him for 4.5 hours. I don't even think about responding to him anymore. I'm going to let the American people decide between what he offers and what we offer. So he can say whatever he wants to. He can run his campaign however he wants to. As we're traveling in these last 17 days, we're going to be emphasizing the importance of electing Democrats down the ballot.
Here with me this morning is Clinton's campaign manager, Robbie Mook. Robbie, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So with 2 weeks, 2 days to go until election, you and your allies are putting a lot of effort into red states right now, Arizona, Utah, Georgia, Missouri. You're doing this even though it's still neck and neck in a lot of the traditional battleground states, Ohio and Iowa, Florida. I hear African-American turnout in North Carolina is lower than it's been in the past. Are you guys getting overconfident?
Well, I'm glad you asked this question because you're exactly right. These battleground states are called that for a reason. They're all going to be incredibly close. We don't want to get ahead of our skis here. So we are just as focused on Ohio, North Carolina, Florida, other states as we have ever been. There's a special opportunity that popped up late in Arizona where Donald Trump's divisive rhetoric about Latinos, his shameful remark about Senator John McCain and POWs has put that state into play. It is possible to win it, but it is going to be razor thin there. It's going to be tough. It's an uphill climb, and we've got to stay focused on these other states. We have a very clear message to our supporters. Let's double down, nose to the grindstone, and keep working.
But what about turnout among, for instance, African Americans in North Carolina? In early voting, I've heard that it's lower than where it was for Obama in 2012.
Well, first of all, we're seeing high turnout generally across the country. The voter rolls have reached a high watermark. Over 200 million people for the first time in our history are on the voter rolls. We expect more voters than ever in our history to turn out and participate in this election. North Carolina has only been voting for a few days, so I think we still need to let the data come in. But look, we should all assume that there's a mountain of work left to be done. There is. So we got to stay focused. And what's important to us is we don't want anybody to wake up after Election Day. This historic event has happened, and they didn't have the chance to participate. So we want everyone to make a plan to go vote.
Donald Trump says that your campaign or the Democratic National Committee are behind the accusations against him of sexual misconduct. I know Secretary Clinton yesterday said the charge is inaccurate, but let me put it more narrowly. Have any of these women had any contact with your campaign or the DNC?
These accusations are not coming from our campaign.
But have they had any contact?
Not that I am aware of. I do not know about any contact. But Jake, I think what's important to look at here is Donald Trump claimed yesterday he was going to go out and roll out his final plan for the campaign, his final message, his plan for the first 100 days. He spent time attacking his accusers. That's what this campaign is about. His top priority right now is to attack these people who are bringing up concerns. We're seeing it across the board. He should just apologize and move on. But I think this is telling about what kind of president Donald Trump would be, that he's more concerned about himself, that he attacks people who raise legitimate concerns about his behavior. He's not talking about jobs. He's not talking about how he's going to help people afford health care or college. And so this should be an alarm bell to voters.
In an email that was hacked by WikiLeaks, and I know that the talking point from the Clinton campaign is this is the Russians trying to infiltrate, but beyond that, there is the substance of this email. We learned that the King of Morocco wanted to contribute $12 million to the Clinton Foundation last year, but he only wanted to do it if he could get a face-to-face meeting with Hillary Clinton. Clinton advisor Huma Abedin wrote that the contribution was a non-starter if the king did not get a meeting with Hillary Clinton. Now, ultimately, Hillary Clinton did not make the trip to Morocco because the campaign had already started. But this does raise the kind of concerns that there is a pay to took play. He wanted to meet with Hillary Clinton, $12 million for the foundation. I mean, doesn't this feed into one of the concerns that voters have about Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation?
Well, I'm glad you asked the question for that reason. It was known for a long time that the Clinton Foundation's conference was held in Morocco. It has been known for a very long time that Secretary Clinton chose not to attend that conference. So there isn't anything new here.
Well, Bill and Chelsea did.
They did, but Secretary Clinton chose not to. And as you pointed out, this was an illegally stolen email put out there by the Russians because they want the campaign to be about this. They want these sort of questions to be raised rather than talking about the real issues.
Well, this is a real
race.
issue. I mean, pay to play. If people don't like the idea of money going to the Clinton Foundation in exchange for access to the then former Secretary of State, I mean, you can understand why that would trouble people.
Absolutely, and it's not true. Again, I'm glad you raised the question because people should understand that never took place. Secretary Clinton always met the highest ethical standards when she was Secretary of State, when she was United States Senator. There were systems put in place to prevent exactly what you're talking about. And again, the Russians illegally stole these emails. They're selectively dumping them out. I can't even verify whether the actual content in them is real, but this is the conversation they want us to have versus how Hillary's going to create jobs, how Hillary's going to help lower
Well, when Hillary Clinton was
healthcare.
Secretary of State, and this is not from WikiLeaks, this is from a Freedom of Information Act request, when Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State and the Haiti relief program was going on, and the State Department and the Clinton Foundation were working on that, emails were sent to the State Department in which people who were quote-unquote friends of Bill, FOB, were highlighted. Why would they be highlighted if it wasn't because cronies of the Clintons would be given access and contracts to help rebuild Haiti?
I can't comment on what might have happened to the State Department and what would have been highlighted or not. But again, the State Department has been clear repeatedly. There was never any special favors. Nobody has put up any evidence that any of this actually happened. And the Obama White House and the Department of State put in the highest possible ethical standards, and there's never been any evidence of any pay-to-play at all.
We talked about this before the last debate, but two Democratic operatives, Robert Creamer and Scott Fovel, were caught on tape talking about instigating violence at a Trump rally in Fovel's case. The last time we spoke, you said any violence is unacceptable. Have you looked into whether or not Democratic operatives paid by the Democratic National Committee were actually instigating these horrific actions, these violent actions we saw at Trump rallies? I mean, I'm sure you would agree, if that's true, that's really offensive.
Well, violence is unacceptable. These individuals no longer have a relationship with the DNC. They've never had a relationship with the Clinton campaign. And my understanding is the events that are referenced happened, I think, in February of last year. They did not have a contract with the DNC until June. But putting all that aside, this was, again, a video that was leaked out for the purpose of damaging the campaign. It is edited, so we don't know what the full context is. And there's no evidence whatsoever that we have been able to find that anyone ever did anything like this when they were working for the DNC.
But certainly, even if they weren't working for the DNC, if they were Democrats and they were instigating violence, this is horrific.
It's unacceptable for anyone from either party to do that. But again, no one who was working for the DNC or the Clinton campaign was doing that. This is, again, an attempt by Donald Trump to distract from the real issues of this campaign. He's spiraling after his last debate, and he doesn't want to talk about substance. Secretary Clinton is out there talking about real plans that she has. She's made clear she wants to bring Democrats, Republicans, independents together. She's going to work for all voters in this election, whether they supported her or not. She's going to work for everybody in the White House.
Let me ask you, the Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren wing of the Democratic Party has said that they want to block anyone who worked on Wall Street from working in the Clinton administration. If Secretary Clinton is elected, what do you think of that? Will the Sanders-Warren wing succeed in keeping anybody who worked on Wall Street from working in the administration?
Well, you just hit the nail on the head. If she wins, the election's not over, so I don't want to get presumptuous. Let me tell you what I do know. I do know that Secretary Clinton and Bernie Sanders worked together very closely to craft this platform that came out. Their delegates collaborated on that project. They're looking forward to getting that platform enacted. They, in particular, worked together on a plan to help working and low-income families go to college tuition-free. They're looking forward to getting that enacted. Our party wrote the most progressive platform in our history. We are unified, and we want to get that work done in office.
All right, Robbie Mook, thank you so much for taking the questions. I appreciate it. Of the people, by the people, for the people, to make America great again. Donald Trump making his own Gettysburg Address. What did he have to say? That's next.